but the tip is up, and it goes to the Huskies. Sarah Strong, so versatile, and you see the zone from Seton Hall. That's something that Coach Tony Bozzella told us. They've been making some changes. He's looking for consistency.
Yeah, the Seton Hall team has played a fair amount of zone, and it is a bit of a risk going zone against the #1 3-point shooting team in the country, but they get a miss and a rebound on the opening possession.
Well, you're right, because one of the areas they really want to focus on is trying to be on the boards and dominate and control the glass. Not always easy out of a zone defense. The left wing shot is up for Codio, and you saw Shaylin Pinckney running the point today without ease.
Yeah, she's a veteran player for Tony Bozzella. They're going to need her in a big way. And Seton Hall forces another miss on back-to-back possessions. Good start for them.
Yeah, so far getting bodies on bodies as that shot off the mark for AZ Fudd, and now some full court pressure by Uconn. It's something that we also were told by Coach Bozzella that Seton Hall's going to bring some pressure also. They're not going to wait late as there's a trap in the corner, and able to handle it so far. Boy, this pressure really slowing down and taking away some of the shot clock for Seton Hall.
Yeah, Uconn is just so disciplined, so connected on the defensive end. They're going to make it really tough for Seton Hall to get into the paint.
Shot clock down to 4. Pinckney recognizing, stepping up. 3 ball off the mark, and the rebound down to the Huskies. Oh, almost a takeaway by Catalan. This crowd still standing, and finally they'll get the sit. First points going to the Huskies.
And that's what Seton Hall has to be cautious of if they're going to elect to play a fair amount of zone in this game. We know AZ Fudd shooting almost 50% from deep on the season. Top 10 in the country.
Just her numbers, Kim, incredible. She's shooting a 50, 40, and 100 from the free throw line. She's almost at 50% behind the arc as well. And now a takeaway.
Yeah,
very strong.
She said, who needs 50, 40, 90? Going
right?
50, 50, 100.
50, 50, 100. She's making up her own rules as foul in the interior. Going to go against the Pirates.
And here's the three that allowed the fans to sit down. They stay on their feet up until that first basket, and that was just a little bit too slow on the rotation, getting out on one of the best three-point shooters in the country.
Yeah, shooting at almost 50%, at 7th in the nation in three-point shooting. As you see Sarah Williams fouled on the interior, the senior out of Brooklyn, New York, the transfer in this year from Wisconsin.
Yeah, we talked to Gino Auriemma about her yesterday. She was a high-volume scorer at Wisconsin. Now in a system with so many good players, but he'd like to try to get her some more opportunities scoring-wise.
Yeah, it takes time. It's a different system. It's a different pace and style, and she's starting to come along. But yeah, I'd like to get the ball in her hands as missed free throw, the offensive board, but a missed opportunity for Uconn there. Good to see KK Arnold back playing D right now, and Pinckney up top. And now another takeaway. The trap leads to it. And trying to push good transition D by the Pirates.
And I'm laughing at Gino Auriemma's reaction there, because turnover is something that they are focusing on.
There you see Tony Bozzella in his 13th season as the head coach. His team making the postseason last year, the WBIT, last 2 years in a row. And made it to the second round there, and high expectations. He said, look, consistency's been the problem. If we get there, he really believes they're the second best team in this conference.
Yeah, right now Seton Hall, Sarah Williams on the putback. That's the aggression Gino wants to see from her. But right now, Seton Hall, a top 50 net team. Another turnover. He wants to hopefully try to get them back to the big dance, but that consistency you mentioned, that's been their Achilles heel.
Third turn of the game, forced by Gino Auriemma's team. They are forcing 24 on the season on average to their opponents. In an area that Seton Hall knew they'd have to take care of. That's great anticipation in the takeaway there by Catalan. Bishop brings it back out. The length of Connecticut really causes problems as well, as the floater won't go for Codio.
Yeah, you see that time, Seton Hall finally able to break through, get to the paint, but they're met with the size of Sarah Strong.
Williams on the interior. You can see the Huskies really looking for Sarah Williams. And you said it, Coach Auriemma said, like, we want to get her more touches. Well, they're going to her in this one.
Yeah, Sarah Williams has been efficient. She's shooting more than 50% on the season. She just hasn't taken a high level of shots. So she is very active to start this game.
Neither team lighting it up to start this one, though, as Fudd uses the screen. Just can't get that one to drop. And almost another takeaway, and it is. Arnold bring it back out. Fudd on the trail, lines it up. Just short. Another long rebound. And too many opportunities. Great hand in the passing lane, though, by Catalan. Defense to offense for the Pirates.
And that's what Catalan does best. She averages more than 3 steals per game. She had 7 steals in that win against Georgetown, and that's exactly what she likes to do. Steal it right at the top of that area and take it down, but that's what Sarah Strong likes to do. I mean, she'll make that shot from anywhere.
Strong with the answer, her first points of the game, just inside the three-point arc, and now on the interior, this pressure full court bunt from Uconn causing problems, and leads to the 3-ball by Fudd. Pushing it up, Valenzuela with an answer behind the arc. Looks up, one defender, why not?
Yeah, I think that's important for them to just settle in a little bit. Without Jada Eads, their point guard, who didn't make the trip with an illness.
Yeah, so disappointing to see her out of this one, as the takeaway there. Aggressive start for the Huskies defensively. The kick out to Arnold, and just misses. Nice box out, but it's tipped back, and Williams comes up with it. But nice movement without the ball, but the miss on the layup. Valenzuela needs a timeout. She will get it. 5:06 remaining.
I think that was a great timeout to hopefully just collect themselves a little bit, try to make the easy passes. But Uconn, let's see what they called. I was a little blocked by the official there. Is it another turnover?
They did call the jump, I think, on that one. Yeah, so they brought in Blanca Quinones, the freshman standout, freshman of the week this last week in the Big East, and she ties it up. And trying to force the turnover again, but finally able to handle some pressure. But I'm with you on that, just to try to settle down. UConn's only shooting it just under 30% right now, and so you're only down 6. I know it's a big missing piece without Eads, the sophomore point guard, and she also gives them big scoring as well. But nonetheless, just take a breath, see what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done against this
really easy from where we are.
UConn team who forces 24 turnovers per game. It is a noticeable difference from last year's team. Gino Auriemma said that's the biggest area where our team is better this season. It's allowing them to play at a higher pace. But let's see if Seton Hall could settle in a little bit here. Shaylin Pinckney with the ball in her hands, a veteran player, a senior who has been with Tony Bozzella for several years now.
Messiah Hunter in as well, 13 in blue for the Pirates. Senior from Hopewell, Virginia. Shot clock down to 4. Pinckney has to recognize, trying to get it into Valenzuela, and does. Perfect pass and positioning, but just can't finish. So the defense was right there, but Valenzuela had an opportunity. Connecticut tries to work it down low to the outside, and instead the steal from Catalan, and outrunning, but not able to handle it. That's Jaquila Kraft off the leg.
Yeah, that's where you want to capitalize, because Savannah Catalan, I think she already has 3 steals in this game. So when you get those easy fast break opportunities, those are the ones you have to convert in a game like this.
Extending out the zone, and it leads to a look from Shade. That shot short, and she follows it. Batted around. Valenzuela comes up with it. We're just pounding pressure D from Connecticut, and Valenzuela the reverse, recognizing D to the ground, and she takes advantage.
She is a really skilled offensive player. You saw her at 6'2", start on the perimeter. Nice fundamental footwork for the up and under.
4 straight misses for Connecticut from the floor. They need a bucket here, as trying to kick it over. Arnold, who missed the last game because of the fractured nasal cavity, and able to get her back after just missing 1 game. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, here's another look at Mariana Valenzuela, able to drop Blanca Quinones and then take it up and under. The transfer from Florida State was more of a reserve role type player with the Seminoles, and now she's really finding her offense again Coach Tony Bozzella spoke very highly of how she has fit in with this Seton Hall program.
Yeah, had the ACL injury back in 2024 and just wasn't really 100% last year even, but and she was late coming in as well. Visa issues, didn't make it to the team until October 1st, as there's a pretty drive on the left side by Kraft. Comes in late, but she's really fit in. She's getting a breather right now. Others going to have to step up. And that's something Coach talked about as well. He said, look, without our starter at the point of needs, everybody's got to kick it up about 2% each. He likes that math.
Yeah, I mean, this has been quite a response for them out of that timeout. They are right back in this game. They're really getting after it on the glass. One and done for Uconn. And they've cleaned up the turnovers. They've been able to force some Uconn turnovers, something that has concerned Gino Auriemma with his group as of late. Jakyla Kraft coming in off the bench. She's averaging double figures in the last 2 games. She's emerging into a really confident scorer, the sophomore.
And Pirates on a 7-0 run. And they're hanging right in this one. He said we're going to break it down, smaller chunks of each quarter. Every 3 minutes, every 5 minutes. Break it down, slow it down if they can. As the pass off the mark, the turnover sends it the other way.
Yeah, that's what you have to do against a Uconn team who can just come at you in waves on both ends, especially with the way they're playing on the defensive end this season. So Seton Hall has really done a nice job of settling in after a quick start for the Huskies.
Allie Zabel has checked into the game, as well as Kaylee Heckel. Heckel, the transfer from USC, gets back to the East Coast out of Port Chester, New York.
Plus a couple minutes is not going to please Gino Auriemma. We sat in on their practice yesterday. Turnovers has been at the top of his mind. They had a season-high 21 in the win against Providence, and now a couple possessions in the span of just a few minutes where they're having careless turnovers.
And he said this team's kind of had a tendency to go on big streaks of, or big slides, you know, with high turnovers. And he said, it's got to be one and then done. Stop that slide if you can. But right now, they've not been able to do it. Just under 2 minutes left, first quarter. Heckel out on Pinckney. Pinckney, the senior guard out of East Hartford, Connecticut, running the point today, as that 3 won't go. But inside and fighting for it, it's good. How about some cleaning up on the interior? Savannah Jones has checked in, the junior.
That's an area Tony Bozzella wanted them to compete in on the glass. When you make that, it doesn't allow Uconn to get out and run in transition where they're so dangerous.
Kick across, Zabel hits it. Much needed bucket, big drought for Uconn. Finally get that one.
Yeah, Uconn that time more patient, smarter on the passes, changing sides of the floor. Kaylee Heckel getting after it in that full court pressure, and Huskies are going to get it back.
Scrum and the jump ball. Pirates 5 for their last 7 shots. Connecticut just 1 for 7. They had tied it up, and then a big 3 by Heckel.
And that was the 9th Seton Hall turnover. So Tony Bozzella has to feel pretty good right now that they have turned it over 9 times, yet are down 1 possession score.
You know, and he says, look, we understand this Connecticut team is very good at 14-0 coming in, 5-0 in the Big East. But he said there's ways to try to at least stay within reach. And they've done that so far.
Yeah, the zone defense has been effective here in the back half of the first quarter. I think Uconn is settling a little bit for 3s early.
I'm with you on that. And then opportunities to trap at times. There's a turnover on the inbound. Their pressure has been stifling for most opponents. And causes problems there, and it leads to the 3 by Thud.
And that's why the turnover is so dangerous, because this Uconn team is so good at scoring off of the turnovers. And just when we were saying Uconn was settling a little bit against the zone, one of the best shooters in the country able to knock it down.
Yeah, it's great to see them have an answer when they needed it. Missed by the Pirates, and Connecticut trying to push pace. Strong steps up, shooter's touch, calm, cool, and collected, and it's an 8-0 Huskies run. Chance for the Pirates, but a block instead by Strong.
And they could have had the last shot there. Now it'll go to Uconn.
Michael fakes one way, goes the other, but the angle not there.
Opportunity. They're being a little too passive, no pun intended.
Yeah, almost thinking a little too much about it as opposed to just playing and letting it happen. As you saw the numbers for AZ Fudd compared to everybody else, she and Strong leading the way as far as shooting goes. The rest of the team struggling a bit. But an 8-0 run in just 1:26 to finish that first quarter. That's how quickly it can get away from you.
Right, we had just said, wow, it's 14-11. And then just like that, a couple turnovers lead to a couple threes. You have to be so careful with ball protection when you face this Huskies team.
10 turnovers for the Pirates. They've given up 9 points off of them, but they have forced 5. And 6 points off of them as well. Those are really key areas that Coach Bozzella talked about. You've got to at least compete with Connecticut with them, as that one swatted out of play.
And that's also why Sarah Williams was brought in, not just to score in the post, but to defend. She is a former Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. I thought we were on the volleyball court there for a second with the two-handed swat.
Two-time All Big Ten first teamer, and gets the rebound there. Nice addition. She's been one of 2 transfers, the other being Kaylee Heckel, who we saw at the end of the first quarter. KK Arnold around and won't go. Strong keeps it alive. Connecticut yesterday in practice really working on pace in their drills, trying to be quick but not do that, and that's turn it over. And that's part of it, though. Gino did say, look, we're going to turn it over some. We like to play fast.
Yeah, I think a turnover like that, though, is the one that's going to frustrate him, because he said sometimes we try to make this incredible, great pass instead of making the simple pass. I mean, that one, there was a defender completely on the front side of Williams. There was really no chance that that one was going to get through.
Yeah, good point. Venezuela. Good recognition, not able to finish the layup though. Wow, I don't know how she missed that when she was right there. I thought it was going in.
Yeah, just a tough fall. She has to stay aggressive. She's a really nice matchup in this game. Sarah Strong has been defending her. They're similar sizes, so she has to stay aggressive, especially without Jada Eads today, who averages about 12 points per game.
Ariana averaging 13 a game, and so just 5 points for her. And yeah, without Eads and her double figures, others again will have to step up. And then the turnover on the Pirates.
And there's that pressure defense from Uconn. All 5 players connected, knowing how they're defending, heavy denials. Nothing comes easy on the offensive end when you face this team.
Seton Hall's been throwing in some trapping opportunities when they can, just at midcourt. Not able to do it there. Breaking it down, that's Quinones.
Quinones said, I don't care about your trap. She is such a talent who is really just scratching the surface with her package of skill, athleticism, size. She has been a fun one to watch so far this season.
She has, the freshman out of Ecuador. Still learning. You know, Coach Oriema said, look, she's only played 14 games. It's going to slow down for her eventually. It's starting to some, but she's made a lot of progress.
Blanca Quinones, Gina Oriema brings her off the bench. Really, anytime she comes in, she makes something happen, and that simply just defensively wasn't good enough for Seton Hall. They were not in a stance. The foot position just allowed her a direct drive to the basket.
Been playing with the senior national team out of Ecuador, and so she might only be a freshman as far as college ranks go, but she does bring some extra experience with her.
Yeah, she was playing professionally in Italy before this, but she is the age of a college freshman. It's not like she's 23, she's 19 years old, but she had been playing pro ball since she was a teenager.
Shots just not falling for the Pirates, though. They've missed their last 6 from the floor, and AZ Fudd continues to do what she's been doing, and is a 12-0 run for Connecticut.
And that was something I noticed in shoot-around yesterday. Gina Oriema was having AZ Fudd run the same play and shot multiple times, but to do something different off of it every time. Not just catch and shoot or kick it out when you don't have the shot. He wants her to create, and this time she did. She ripped through, got to that pull-up spot where there was no defender near her, and that pull-up is as smooth as you will find in the country.
It's so quick, but spot on, and she leads everybody with 11 points, 3 of 7 behind the arc as well. Kayla Craft, the sophomore, hounded up top. Shot clock down to 1. Yeah, a good defensive stop by the Huskies.
And they are just everywhere. We talk about their full court pressure, forcing those turnovers, but they're also just so solid in the half court. Connected is the word I keep coming back to, because they're moving on a string. No one's ever late on a closeout. No one gets hit with the screen that wasn't called.
Double dribble called on the Huskies. That one's going against Quinones. So break for Seton Hall. 7th turn of the game for Uconn. The length out on Pinckney and gives it back to Valenzuela. Again, shot clock winding down and a little too aggressive on the reach in by Blanca Quinones.
That's something Gino Auriemma has been working with Quinones on. He said it has gotten better just in terms of silly fouls. He wants to get her minutes up. They are up a couple minutes since a few weeks ago, but still working with her on little things like that.
And there's Arnold with the active hand, so quick, and an and one. Defense to offense for the Huskies.
You see why Uconn was very happy to get her back in the lineup after she missed last game. We see her playing with that mask now. I mean, she just swipes that ball, goes full speed ahead, absorbs the contact. I don't think they were going to keep her out for another game.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, she is so tough. I mean, you think about it, just happened on Tuesday and sat out the one game, but she's got the face mask, and they said if everything feels good, you're good to go. And apparently it does, as she gets the three-point play. Earlier, turnovers weren't being converted, but as of late, these turnovers are now adding to some point production. How about 14 of them for the Huskies? Wow. 15-0 run for Connecticut. Seton Hall needs a bucket. Venezuela is swarmed by Husky defenders. And trying to stop the break. Foul going to go against the Pirates.
Uconn right now just making it really tough for Seton Hall to get into any sort of action. I think spacing has to be really important for Seton Hall because Uconn is cutting off every driving lane. So you want to try to get that Uconn defense shifting a little bit, moving, changing sides of the floor so that you can attack some of those closeouts.
Yeah, they know exactly where Mariana Valenzuela is at all times. We saw 3 defenders there. Others are going to have to either find a way to get her a little more space, or others are going to have to step up as well to score.
Yeah, they may have to be strategic about where they're getting her the ball, knowing that a double or triple team is likely going to come in the post.
Good box out off the miss of Strong. And trying to push and bank it up good. Jacayla Kraft has been one of them. Now she has 6 points leading the way for the Pirates.
Yeah, playing with pace, another way that Seton Hall is going to have to look to get easier buckets, whether it's creating the turnover, getting that defensive rebounding going, because the half-court defense of the Huskies is just so strong.
Yeah, great point. Maybe trying to get something before they get set up as Shade loses it to the hands of Kraft. 5 minutes left, first half. It's been a fairly fast-paced, pretty clean game as well for this crowd. And that's a nice soft touch from the perimeter. Pinckney getting involved.
Yeah, back-to-back possessions. That has Tony Bozzella fired up a little bit on the sideline. Back-to-back where they got the stop, played with a little bit of pace, scored in the primary or secondary break.
First points of the game for Pinckney. Yeah, it stops the big run by the Huskies. Strong, no hesitation, up and over the smaller defender. The versatility of Sarah Strong is just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's just tough. There was a defender with good length with a hand in the face, but Sarah Strong made that look so smooth. Her three-point shooting is really coming along. She had a season-high 5 makes in the last game, and her percentage is up to 40% on the season.
First 3 for her, and now a takeaway by the Huskies, and Quinones will just bring it up.
Uh-oh.
Strong. Can she get back-to-back? She does. Second 3 of the game, and her 25th on the season. And a timeout called by the Pirates.
Debate right now, but they have been unstoppable.
Yeah, definitely special. Strong's going to get whistled with the personal, though, on the attempt to steal. That's her first. This pressure has really caused some issues for the Pirates, no doubt about it. And not just Seton Hall, though. It's been a problem for a lot of teams so far as the Huskies remain undefeated. And they have had a really tough non-conference schedule coming into conference play. They've got multiple ranked teams. You know, Jada Eads, the starting point guard for Seton Hall, out due to illness. They've been trying to make do without her. This has been a tough quarter, one of those kinds of quarters that Coach Bozzella says you just can't have against Connecticut, as trying the three was Pinckney, and the over and back call on the offensive glass against Seton Hall.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't afford offensive lulls when you play a team that is as efficient as they are offensively, and a team that's going to turn you over and take away some possessions that you would normally get in a game.
10 assists on 12 made field goals for the Huskies. That's a really nice ratio as, wow, working it inside, high to low. Williams to Strong.
How did Sarah Strong catch that? I mean, that was a pretty poor pass. I thought it was going to ricochet off the backboard, actually, or sail out of bounds, but somehow Sarah Strong saves it and then is able to put it in.
I thought it was pretty good defense by the Pirates also. I thought, okay, they've got her where they want her, and instead ends up with the layup as Strong has really kicked things up.
Sarah to Sarah high-low. This pass had a lot of heat on it from Sarah Williams. I thought it was soaring into the backboard, out of bounds. Somehow Sarah Strong just extends that arm, is able to corral it in, and then you said it, there were a defender on the front, a defender on the back. She's still able to find her way to a bucket.
Kim, it's an 8-0 run by Connecticut, and all 8 are from Sarah Strong.
Wow.
A couple of threes, and now that make. And guess who? KK Arnold with the active hands once again. Hesitation, waits for the trail, and off the mark for Strong there. Shade out guarding Pinckney. Pounding defense. Handoff to Catalan. Cody O, can she get going? Misses this one, rebound to Fudd, and not sure what they called here. Fudd's asking as well, did she step on the inline maybe? This crowd's gonna get involved. The turnover, the 9th for Uconn.
Uconn staff in the all black today.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was planned. Let's take a look.
Oh yeah, oh there you go, yep. Came out, came back in. Officiated crew today, Joe Vasili, Gorlani Spurlock, and Meadow Overstreet. A lot of whistles, been pretty fast paced, been letting them play. So again, the shot clock winding down. Venezuela recognizing, and another shot clock violation. Big D once again.
Yeah, and it was too bad because it looked like that was going to be one of their better looks of the game. They had Valenzuela in one-on-one coverage. She's got the size to bang with Sarah Strong, but they just got into it too late because of that Uconn pressure.
Valenzuela and Codio, both players coming off of ACL injuries, and Coach had talked about how his staff, oh, how about that? Hesitation, up and under finish from Sarah Williams. I can see why Gino wants to get the ball in her hands a little bit more.
Yeah, that was just a confident shot. Oh, another steal for the Huskies.
Bud taking it right at Catalan, and again, the takeaway leads to a layup.
Easy Fudd broke into a smile mid-layup there. I mean, these young women are out there having fun with it.
12-0 run for the Huskies. There were several come, almost a takeaway there. Got to get it across, and they don't. And they force the turnover as the Pirates can't get it across midcourt. Defensive pressure kicking up, Kim.
And Sarah Williams kicking up the confidence. How about that step through? And then this defense has just been insane. 20 turnovers forced already. There was the smile from AZ Fudd. That's the freeness she's playing with in this final season, but I mean, the defense is insane. Seton Hall averages about 15 turnovers per game.
Yeah.
They're only at 20 in the first half.
The season high is 25, and they don't want to hit that mark, as pushed way out was Williams. Under a minute left, first half. Oh, nice square up and the finish. That's Valenzuela with a much-needed 3, and it stops the 12-0 run.
Yeah, Seton Hall has shot very well from 3 in Big East play, 44%. I'd like to see them look to get some more of those opportunities. That was a nice one from Valenzuela.
Penetration in and the kick out. Working it inside. Williams needs some help, and they're going to call 3 seconds on Williams. Hey, coming up on the Jeep halftime report, got a nice feature for you. Going to go over Connecticut's defense, kind of show you how that all works. And then first half stats and highlights. They worked on a lot of defensive sequences yesterday in practice, and it shows why it's so effective.
And right there you saw another thing that Gino emphasized was stop passing and go up with the shot.
Yes, too much passing. As this second quarter is winding down, Rosa trying to get some space up top. The kick out, a quick look, but that one won't go for Codio. And this first guard for Seton Hall out due to illness, and Connecticut's tried to take advantage of that situation. For Connecticut, they did get KK Arnold back after being out with the broken nose, as Connecticut immediately though starts with another 3. Fudd right on cue.
Seton Hall coming out of the break in that zone defense that we saw a lot of in the first half, but the top person in that zone sucked into where the ball was and completely left AZ Fudd alone at the top of the key. She had already made 3 threes in the first half, make it 4 now.
Connecticut also out Ayanna Patterson. She's been out due to the concussion. They don't have her back just yet. She missed last game as well. So just a couple players out for them, but they have really been able to utilize a bit more depth going to their bench.
Yeah, nobody on this Uconn team averages more than 28 minutes per game. As we look at good amount of players in suits, that was a common theme for this Uconn team a couple of years ago. Thankfully, since then they've gotten much healthier for the most part this season. Still waiting on a couple of those players to hopefully get back.
Ice Brady was over there as well. She's been battling with the knee. You got Morgan Shelley. Also, she's been out the entire way with the ankle. But yeah, they do not want to go back to that trend, as turnovers on both ends, and now just nobody stopping the ball. KK Arnold with the finish.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Seton Hall team that likes to be active, defensively disruptive, and that time, I mean, just 5 players not in a stance, standing straight up. Arnold able to weave her way through the entire defense for an easy layup.
Got to recognize and talk. A nice look on the interior, and just waiting over there was Codio.
Yeah, more aggressive attack that time from Pinckney, and that allowed Uconn to get in some defensive rotations, and that's what opened up a dump-off pass on the block.
Codio averages about 10 points a game. Her first point of this ball game going right there. Arnold squares it up, can't get it. And aggressive on the glass. Ashlyn Shade keeps it alive. When you're down a player like Jada Eads for Seton Hall, others that typically score 10 plus, you've got to kick it up even another notch. And so Codio, who had been 0 for 7 prior to that last make, they need her to get going here, as that one won't go.
Yeah, she's definitely a piece that needs to hunt out some shots a little bit more, especially because she's been shooting really well as of late. She's been struggling percentage-wise a little bit earlier in the season, but her numbers are back up in terms of an efficiency standpoint.
Catalan, she's been fairly quiet. Nice cut into the paint without the ball, but it won't drop for Bishop. Almost a takeaway by Catalan. Good aggressive play by the junior. She and Jada Eads, 2 players that came back for Coach Bozella. He said met with them after last year's WBIT run. It was a little too aggressive on the interior. Foul going to go against the Pirates, but he said we're building everything, you know.
Loss for Seton Hall against this type of opponent, and you're seeing that reflected in the turnover numbers, as she's typically the one who can dribble her way out of traps, make better reads on the passes. We'll see if they can settle in here in the second half.
And there you go, on the baseline before the D really gets set. That's been a plus. Jordana Codio, the senior from Winter Garden, Florida, transferred in from Texas. Player that was out due to an ACL injury a couple of seasons ago and really had to try to fight her way back, but you're fighting on a program that's got some incredible talent ahead of you.
Yeah, Codio has looked to be more aggressive scoring-wise here to start the second half. She's a player with nice length on the perimeter at 6'1". She has that range. She and Valenzuela, really the two scorers that need to stay aggressive and keep moving without the ball.
Off the inbound pass. It's picked up by Arnold as she's knocked to the floor. And so frustrations mounting, I think, with another turnover. That's the 22nd on Seton Hall.
Yeah, this is KK Arnold's, I believe, 5th steal of the game. She had 4 at the half. And one thing KK Arnold is not going to do is shy away from contact. Getting the steal going right at Codio to get herself a trip to the line.
Yeah, nasal fracture or not, she's aggressive and willing to take some contact. As gets to the line, off the mark there for the junior guard.
Yeah, you would think with that kind of an injury, you'd be a little cautious in terms of direct contact to the face, but KK Arnold is going right into it.
This is both free throws, but Strong gives them another chance. That one off the back of the iron, long rebound, and Catalan will bring it across. Thought she got tripped up, and they'll say nope, but a jump ball, and it'll keep it with the Pirates.
Tony Bizzell, I think, looking for a foul call, some contact there, but I'm also going back to when we listened in on his huddle in the first quarter. He said too much dribbling. You can't dribble aimlessly against this Uconn team. They're going to send traps at you. They have to get more movement on the pass.
And they get the takeaway there. And again, a foul. Some frustration. Being aggressive, but a little too aggressive on that one was Catalan.
Yeah, that's one where Tony Bizzella has no problem with that foul. I think that he's a little bit frustrated after Catalan didn't draw a foul on the other end when he thought there was some contact, and now kind of just some minimal. That's one I think they could have just let that one play on.
I'm with you there. First personal on Catalan, but the third on the Pirates as a team. Strong takes one way, goes the other, and she finds Janet El-Alfi getting her first minutes of the game.
And that's how you attack a zone. I mean, Sarah Strong just faced up, paused a second, and then took it off the bounce. Not much spacing there, but able to feed it through to El-Alfi.
Tie up. That will hand it back to Connecticut, where this trap has been something.
Fundamental, one dribble, pulls Valenzuela across the paint, and that opens for El-Alfi, who we just saw her for the first time this half. She's had a nice stretch of games. I'm surprised we didn't see her a little bit earlier, but she gets going right away. Wow.
Well, use the curl, use the screen, shoot and score, and going to go to the line. Sarah Strong, she leads this team in assists, blocks, boards, field goal shooting as well, and today she's already got 4 assists in this one.
Yeah, good start to 2026 for Sarah Strong. I mean, this is just simple. This is called getting to a gap against the zone, and just like she did on the last possession, she squares up instantly. That time the defense was late getting to her. Nice, easy mid-range jumper. Sarah Strong up to 14 points on 60% shooting so far.
She and AZ Fudd 30 of the 47 points for Connecticut, and add another one to it as she gets the 3-point play. 15 for Strong, 7 boards, 4 assists. She's got a nice line going in this one. And just a sophomore. You think about last year's group and a lot of players that she was playing along with, but a very different role for her this year in really kicking it up even another notch. She didn't have a bad season last year, Kim.
Yeah, I mean, last year you could kind of hand over the reins to Paige Beckers and just kind of exist out there, be open. Paige was going to find you, but this year Sarah Strong has really taken up her aggressiveness and just how she commands this team.
Catalan finally able to split the 2 defenders, and a travel though. Cam Rust into the game for the Pirates. The sophomore gets called for the travel. Tough break there. Finally he's able to split the trap and then not able to get something out of it.
Yeah, that's just the impact of the pressure, because you kind of just fear that something is coming where you can't even make a fundamental jump stop there.
Strong. She shoots so high above her head, and with her length, she's up above most defenders on her.
Yeah, her release is effortless, and we mentioned in the first half that three-point shot really coming on strong for Sarah Strong. She was 5 of 7 against Providence, and that's her third triple of this game, 3 of 4. How about that efficiency?
You'll take any time you can. 18 points for her. As extra effort on the offensive glass. Pinckney tries to save it. Instead, they're Strong. And it leads to offense for the Huskies.
First bucket for Ashlyn Shade. Transition offense. The defense just wasn't aware of shooters on the perimeter. Daly Lyon, she's a veteran now. She's covering up her mouth on the bench, knowing that the cameras are going to be on her a lot of the time.
Yeah, really impressive line. Yeah, she may only be a sophomore, but she plays like a vet, no doubt.
She plays like she's in year 10 in the W. Just, it's like she plays the game at 50% speed in a good way.
Drive by Heckel, and she gets knocked to the floor. She'll go to the line. Aggressive defense at the other end once again, leading to a fast break opportunity. A lot of those hustle plays and numbers have been fairly even and have been pretty consistent, but the turnovers obviously we've talked about, and they've started to kind of get away from Seton Hall a little bit. I mean, this depth, I feel like this pace, it can wear a team down, especially when you're a little shorthanded.
Yeah, especially a team like Uconn, who has the depth in numbers as well. We mentioned AZ Fudd leads this team in minutes at 27 minutes per game. So Regina Oriema is able to cycle in fresh bodies, fresh legs like Kaylee Heckel, Blanca Quinones off the bench, who can really dial up the intensity on the defensive end.
Yeah, big plus when your leading scorer can give you about half the game's minutes, right? And sit and rest quite a bit.
Yeah, that's what else is remarkable about the numbers that both Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd are putting up in under 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, it really is. Shot clock once again down to 2. And Help T coming over, and this will be a shot clock violation. Prior to the timeout, they actually reversed their call and gave it back to Seton Hall. This one will stick. And another chance for Gino Oriema to go to his bench. Bring in Allie Zabel, a 6-foot sophomore from the state of Wisconsin. She had 33 games under her belt last year. And her numbers are all up a bit from a season ago.
Yeah, she's another three-point threat that Gino can bring in. She made her first career start in the last game when they were without KK Arnold.
And they kick it down to her in the corner, squares it up, sticks it. She comes in, and she's automatic if she's that open.
Uconn had overloaded on the side of the ball. Kaylee Heckel makes a hard cut into the paint, and that's what led to that kick out to Allie Zabel, right on the money.
10th three of the game for Connecticut, as that one won't go for Hallrosa. Seton Hall averages just about 8 per game as the Huskies work it inside. The finish from El Alfi, but the Huskies averaging just barely under 10 threes per game, and they are right at it in this one. But it was an area that Coach Rosella thought, if we can hit some threes, it can potentially keep us in. Right now, though, they've only connected on 2.
Yeah, it's too bad because they have been shooting the three very well. 44% in Big East play. That's higher than UConn's average on the season. They've had so many turnovers that the looks have been hard to come by.
Russ lost her footing, so another one there, as trying to draw the charge was Catalan, but instead blocking foul on her. Connecticut, the top team in the nation in assists per game, showing you one.
Yeah, I mean, it's unselfish play. It's moving without the ball. Blanca Quinones being patient in the post. A nice cut from Shade, and then she quickly swings it over. And that's now 19 assists for Uconn on 23 made field goals. That is a pretty high percentage.
Yeah, really love that ratio. And here is Ashlyn Shade, the junior out of Noblesville, Indiana. Big East 6th Woman of the Year last year. had 12 starts on the season. She started every single game this year, has moved into that role, and now it's a 20-0 run for the Huskies.
Yeah, Seton Hall just needs to look at this possession by possession right now. Valenzuela has been very quiet here as of late. I'd like to see them try to get her a look. Kodio will take it into her own hands.
Well, the outside shots weren't falling for her. First half, 0 for 7. She's been much better this quarter. They could use more of it, and a much-needed bucket stops the big run. But the aggressive drive, Quinones with the hoop. Ari Woodard is checked into the game. Freshman out of state of Florida, running some point right now. Her 10th game on the season. Right corner, that one skims the iron for Valenzuela. Inside, weaving around, pivot foot stays. Sarah Williams with another one.
That was impressive from Williams. High-low action, not an easy pass to catch, and she's corralling it in. She keeps her footwork alive and fights through an opening. This has been a good game for her.
7 points for Williams. Yeah, every single player that's been out there for the Huskies has scored at least a couple of field goals. And the depth, it's not just depth coming in to give you a breather. I mean, it is depth in scoring from top to bottom. Foul on Williams, her first, and it will put Jordana Kodio to the free throw line.
These are actually the first free throw attempts of the game for Seton Hall.
It's been physical and it's been aggressive, but yeah, they have not been able to. And the turnovers plus maybe settling outside and not attacking. I do think they've done a better job this quarter in attacking a bit more on the interior. Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, I think in the first half, Uconn's pressure was just so good. They were making it very hard for Seton Hall to even get into the lane, but they've had more success here in the second half.
And the free throw's good for Kodio. 8 points, all of them coming this quarter for her. We are at 30 seconds remaining, third quarter. Known as the weave inside, just short on the layup, and it'll go the other direction. Coming off Big East Freshman of the Week honors, her 5th time this season. A freshman from Ecuador, and she really is a bright spot for Gino Ariema and this team. Third quarter winding down. Pirates could use a bucket to maybe a little lift going in to the fourth. Bishop gets tied up. The awareness of the defense for Uconn has been spot on.
Everyone is either early or on time. No one on Uconn is ever late to a rotation. They all know exactly what they want to do.
I'm going to wave that shot off. That will do it. Third quarter in the books.
Well, I've been one of them who said that because we lost the best player in the country in Paige Beckers. But what he did say is he thinks this team has kind of different or more ways of being really good. And I think this year's team is really dangerous to play against because of the defensive pressure that we're seeing in this game. They forced 24 turnovers per game, and they're playing at a higher pace. They're scoring the ball more. The depth is tremendous. So Gino looking to go back-to-back for the first time in about a decade. And we were at the practice facility yesterday. Our question was, when they do get that next banner, they've run out of room on the wall that hosts the national championship banner. So I don't know where they're going to put that next one.
Yeah, they're going to extend, they're going to put an addition on the practice facility, I think, if so. But yeah, very different though. And we were just talking about how every single player that's been out there has scored. And that's what he's talking about. He has more scoring options with this group. A lot was on the shoulders of Paige Beckers, no doubt about it, a season ago. And gives some opportunities here to start this fourth quarter. The first bucket was El Alfie. She gets another offensive rebound and another chance here. Quinones, she's got the ball in her hands a lot, gets it back. Long rebound, Williams. Hustle play, the layup won't go. El Alfie. Again. Heckel gives it up. Zabel, too many chances for the Huskies.
That possession is a perfect example of the makeup of this year's Uconn team. Sarah Strong and Azzi Fudd are sitting on the bench, but you had multiple players crashing the offensive glass. You had Kaylee Heckel get to the paint and kick out to a three-point shooter off of the bench. How about the zip on that pass right into Ali Zabel's shooting pocket? And there's the starters, 4 starters on the bench. The Uconn's second rotation could beat a lot of teams in the country.
Yeah, you know, this is a team with 3 starters back from a season ago, but 2 transfers and 3 freshmen, so some new pieces, but they already have a very good chemistry about them. You can see the unselfishness as well. Again, leading the nation in assists. That's a number that I think most coaches look at more than a lot of fans do necessarily.
Yeah, very unselfish group, and that's why we've heard Gino, these 2 are always having fun in the 4th quarter. We just told her to calm down.
Yeah, having a good time. And for Seton Hall, they've gone into their bench as well. They'll hopefully get Jada Eads back from the illness sooner than later. They're going to stay on the road. They'll play at Providence after this one. And for Connecticut, they will have St. John's here at home.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, it's been a tough go for Seton Hall. I don't think we've really seen the level of talent that they have. Obviously missing Eads is a huge piece, but Tony Bozzella feels like they are a team that is going to contend for that number 2 spot. Right now it's really been them and Villanova. I think in that number 2 spot, Villanova did beat Seton Hall. He's looking forward to the rematch, but we haven't really seen what the Seton Hall team is capable of today.
I think you're right, and I think it's a team that also has a lot of new pieces. Talk about 5 freshmen and 3 transfer players. It takes time to gel, and they've been trying to get consistency, and that could come. They could use more of Codio on the drive as well.
Yeah, and the transfers he brought in didn't play many minutes in recent seasons. Jordana Codio being one of them. She was a player off the bench at Texas. So even the transfers he brought in are still trying to find their footing, but Ali Zabel, she has really been shooting the ball well the last couple of games.
The sophomore averaging 6 points per game, but off the bench, she's got 12 points in this one. Number 7 recruit, McDonald's All-American, Wisconsin's Miss Basketball, and a 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year, Zabel.
Uconn's now up to 12 threes in this game. Azzi has 4, Zabel has 4, Sarah Strong has 3.
They come in off the win against Providence, and they forced 30 turnovers in that one. They have already forced 30 in this one. High post shot, banks it up, and good. Janet El-Alfi with another one, the redshirt sophomore from Egypt.
She's really coming into a confident piece off the bench because of Sarah Williams. Her numbers, or her minutes may be down a little bit from last season, but last 2 games coming into this one averaging about 10 points per game.
Codio gives it up. And a nice idea, long rebound. Seton Hall comes up with it. Into the hands inside. That's Zahara Bishop with the bucket. And a timeout and some subs are going to come in. And you're right, they've got to make a run in Big East play before they face Connecticut again. They'll do that on their home court. He's into the game. That one rattles around. That's Caroline Ducharme who's checked in. Haven't seen her in a while. Just her 10th game she's been out due to injury. And the drive inside is good. Codio adds to her totals. 12 points for her this second half. Did not score in the first.
Yeah, she has to keep that energy for a full 40 minutes. Her team is going to need her to stay aggressive. She's been their best player at getting downhill, moving without the ball. They need that energy in the first half from her as well.
Yeah, they certainly did. Oh, Khalees Fisher, a quick drive, but misses the layup. The freshman from Baltimore, Maryland. And good D getting back by El-Alfi. She's really been sharp, taking advantage of her minutes off the...
El-Alfi, the 6'5" center, sprinting the floor to deflect that pass. That shows you the culture defensively that Uconn has, that regardless of what the score is, regardless of when you're coming into the game, everybody is exerting that same standard of effort and energy.
Played all of last season, had 27 starts, and a takeaway, looking to break. And a foul going to go against the Pirates. Foul on Catalan, her third, and the team's first.
She's been their leading scorer. It's been a tough night offensively for her. She has gotten a couple swipes. She's really good on that end, but she averages 14 a game, just sitting on the 2 points this afternoon.
Yeah, I think Connecticut scouting this Pirates team perfectly in really holding down those double digits. And then after seeing that there was no Jada Eads, also they really clamped down on those main go-tos.
Yeah, without a doubt. With Jada Eads in the game, that takes the pressure off of Catalan. It opens some things up for her, but because of her being out, she has drawn a lot of the attention and just hasn't been able to find many clean looks.
Just picked up her fourth personal. 4:20 left in the game. Heckel double team comes over. It's kicked out to Zabel. She's got 4 threes in this game, just one shy of her career high. I thought she'd already hit it, but she's done some damage coming in off the bench.
Yeah, she really loves that left corner pocket three. That one didn't go down, but the majority of threes I've seen her make have come from that spot.
Just losing it out of the hands of Codio. And the turnover will send it back to Connecticut.
Tony Bozzella still applauding her, though, after that turnover, because she's had success at finding her gaps, finding her openings. Unfortunately, just bobbled the handle a little bit on the attempt.
Looks as though Connecticut's going to stay undefeated at 15-0. They would go to overall. Still some time in this one, but going to try to remain undefeated. Never an easy task. It's going to be interesting to see. They finished last season winning 16 in a row, and now coming into this one 14 in a row.
Yeah, we are almost at a full calendar year. Their last loss was February 2025 against Tennessee. As we look at what they have coming up, they still have 2 non-conference games. They'll play Notre Dame. They'll play Tennessee, the last team to beat them. But so far, they have just been rolling through their Big East opponents.
And a 3-ball from Catalan, her first of the game, and she has 5 points. Threes just weren't falling early enough in this game for the Pirates to really keep them in, but coast to coast on that one, the finish. Hallrosa with the bucket. First points of the game, just under 3 minutes remaining. And a kick out on the swish. Kaylee Heckel gets it to go.
Those two have a nice connection.
Yes.
Ali Zabel, Kaylee Heckel, I believe they're the same year, so I think they've played, you know, some USA basketball or some All-American type games together. Those two have found each other nicely this afternoon.
They really have. Yeah, the transfer, Heckel from USC, but she's from the East Coast, has another 3 for the Pirates.
Yeah, there's Catalan. We mentioned she had a tough time finding some openings, but we're now seeing that she's a capable scorer.
A good hustle defensively, the takeaway by Kraft, and then she gives it up, and an and one. Hallrosa will go to the line. This Seton Hall team, I think if you're Coach Bozzella, this team's not giving up just yet. I like their spirit, and they're hanging in there.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of respect with how they're playing right now, and that is a product of the coach. You still see him fist bumping his team. Players are coming in off the bench, despite what the scoreboard reads. They're still giving excellent effort. They're forcing some turnovers on the defensive end, and you just want to feel like you walk out of this building feeling a little bit better about yourself, knowing that you're going to get your point guard back, hopefully, and that you're still a team that's going to be a real force in this Big East Conference.
Yeah, I think you're so right on with that one, as the 3-point play was good for Hallrosa, the freshman out of Randolph, Massachusetts. And nice spark and some good minutes for these first-year players as well to play this kind of competition.
Yeah, as you said earlier, a lot of freshmen on this team. Tony Bozzella has always been really good at the transfers. Faith Mazonis from last season, she had a great final season. And Tony said she was actually a big part of why Mariana Valenzuela wanted to come here. So they're still trying to get these pieces on the same page, but there is a lot of talent up and down this roster.
Jana El Alfi to the line. Gets the free throws. Redshirt sophomore from Cairo, Egypt. And again, became a starter last year has played every single game, though, has taken on a role coming in off the bench. Redshirted in 2024, but she gets the free throws.
And she's a young player, too.
Yeah.
We were talking to Gino. I mean, he said when KK's on the bench, when AZ's on the bench, he looks out there, and he has a very young group.
Yes.
Ducharme is the veteran, but other than that, right now he has 3 sophomores and a freshman.
Yep, not a lot of experience. As the zone gives up a look and finding the gap, that's Catalan with another one.
Yeah, she has really caught fire after just 1 field goal for the majority of this game. She now has 3 triples in the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, 11 points for her, and so the defense giving them to her at this point with this lead. Oh, and there you go. This crowd loving it. Ducharme with a bucket.
Ducharme, such a fan favorite, has battled serious injuries the last couple of seasons, still here in Stores, giving it her all.
Minute left in this one. And the crowd brought it, and so did these Huskies, the top team in the nation, as Ducharme swats that one out of play. 7 on the shot clock. Caroline Ducharme, the redshirt senior, just 9 games a season ago. The number 5 recruit and McDonald's All-American out of Milton, Massachusetts.
I think back to her freshman year, which was one of those years where Uconn was just decimated with injuries.
Yes.
And she was such a key part of how far they would go that season.
Yeah, she was a second teamer in the Big East and part of the all-freshman team that year. But you're right. I mean, just the level of play that she had to play in when almost everyone was out, as that one for Heckel gets caught underneath. Pinkney